pulled off my gloves to pick up my coffee mug and wrapped my fingers round it, grateful for the warmth, the curl of steam that licked at my cold face. "Christmas in the sunshine instead of this endless cold, grey drizzle," said Karen, and pulled her jacket more closely round her, shivering exaggeratedly. "What time does your plane go?" "Not until just before 6. I'm picking Christian up on the way to Heathrow." I said it casually, but felt a small prickle of nervous happiness in my chest. Christian and I had been friends for nearly 18 years, lovers for just a few months, and now, for 2 weeks, the 4 of us would all be together in the Florida Keys. We would be the family unit I'd thought had been smashed to pieces, going on trips, making plans, collecting shared stories that we could tell and retell later, even eating breakfast together. Except Charlie never ate breakfast. She acted as though toast was immoral. I hoped she would behave herself. "I think Christmas should be cancelled," Karen was saying. "Eamon has a kind of ideological objection to it anyway, and is always trying to make us celebrate the winter solstice instead, stand around a bonfire at midnight like witches. Rick tries to make us play board games and charades and wink murder, even though you can't play wink murder with just 3 people, and She raised her eyebrows at me. "I'm the one who drinks too much and burns the turkey." Rick came round to the driver's door, leaned in and turned the key in the ignition. "Right," he said determinedly. There was a hasty splutter, then silence. "You hope you're picking up Christian," said Karen, who seemed almost pleased. Rick pulled a face that was a caricature of confusion, anxiety, and distress. This was what he did in life. He helped people. He fixed things. He was unflappably, charmingly capable. People turned to him, just as I had this morning. "At least you've solved the rattle," said Karen gaily, and gave a small, explosive snort. "What?" said Rick, with a glance at her that she pretended not to see. "The car won't rattle if you can't switch it on." His face went a scary shade of crimson. He looked at his watch, and I cast a surreptitious glance to it as well. "Shall we just call the garage?" I suggested. "Or the AA? I'm a member." "Well," began Rick, "it might just be—" "Don't be ridiculous," said Karen. "You've got nothing on today, have you? Just working on your boat? Though God knows why you want to work on your boat on a day like this. And it's the first day of your holiday. You can't just take Nina's car apart and leave it like that. She's got to get to the— "I know. How old is this car anyway?" Rick stared at the rusty little rover as if it was one of his more hopeless pupils. "About 10 years," I said. "It was already quite old when I got it." Rick gave a grunt, as if the car's age was to blame for the situation. "Can't you work backwards?" said Karen. "At least you could get it back to the way it was when Nina drove it here." "What do you think I'm doing?" Rick asked with effortful calm. "Don't worry, Nina," Karen said reassuringly. "I'm not worried," I said, and it was true. I knew that in a few hours, even if I had to get a taxi all the way to Heathrow, we'd be in the air, far from the pinched, icy days of English winter. I imagined sitting beside Christian and gazing out of the window as London became an intricate grid of orange and white lights. I raised my head and looked past Rick and Karen's house to what lay beyond. For 38 years I had lived in a city where I could go a whole day without seeing the horizon. Here on Sandling Island, it was all horizon. The level land, the mud flats, the miles of marshes, the saltings, the grey, wrinkled sea. Now it was mid-morning, and from where I stood, facing west towards the mainland, I could see only the glistening mud flats, with their narrow, oozing ditches of water where waders were walking with high-stepping, delicate legs and giving mournful cries as if they'd lost something. It was low tide. Little boats tethered to their unnecessary buoys tipped at a steep angle to show their blistered, slimy hulls. Their halyards chinked and chimed in the wind. From my own house, a bit further round to the southeast, I could make out the sea. Sometimes when I woke in the morning and opened my eyes on its grey, shifting expanse, I still wondered for a moment where I was, how on earth I'd landed up there. It was Rory who had wanted to come, who for years of our marriage had dreamed of leaving London, of giving up his job as a solicitor and